I said to you that poltergeists were caused by vampires, I'm certain that almost you'd laugh in my face. Yeah. We tend to think that the figure of the vampire as a blood-sucking, non-dead creature is fixed. We all know what vampires look like, we know what vampires do. But the only reason we know that is because we are all inheritors of 200 years of vampire stories that are fiction. The vampire of fiction is completely different to the vampire folklore who existed long before Count Dracula and his cronies turned up. In the 19th century, you would find a wide range of vampire beliefs stretching across Eastern Europe and the Northern Mediterranean. Vampire beliefs that varied from not just country to country and district to district, but even from village to village. In the 1860s, two classic British Victorian adventurers decided to go to Bulgaria to have a good time, where they went around shooting all the wildlife and generally having an excellent time of sort of the great British abroad. During that time, they learned a great deal about vampires. Largely because their servant was the son of a vampire. And they learned, for example, that the vampires in this particular village had two lives. Firstly, they would the person it would be a bad person, he would die, and then after 9 days, his spirit would rise from the tomb, and the spirit would be mostly invisible, would only be noticeable by sparkles that could be seen at night or shadows that were thrown. And for the next 30 days, this semi-visible vampire would basically act as a poltergeist. He would throw stones at the villagers, bang on doors, smear feces over religious pictures and icons, shout, create all sorts of disturbances. It was absolute classic poltergeist activity. And then, after the sort of what you might call the larval stage had passed, the imago vampire would emerge after 40 days in the tomb, and that would be the classic walking undead. And you can only tell that they were a vampire because they had only one nostril. Other than that, they didn't have fangs, they didn't suck blood, they didn't have anything like that. They just looked like you or I, just they had one nostril. And so what we have is this very particular local vampire belief for this one part in Bulgaria, which sounds exactly like poltergeist outbreaks.